Hello there, everyone. I'm finally live. Okay. I don't know what happened with my alarm clock, but I did not wake up on time. Let's just say that. Okay, so looks like no one's actually have any suggestions of what they want to see me do in this live stream. So I'm just gonna go with what I have on my mind, and it is. I was thinking of making something like trying out. Hello. Trying out making a an objective. I guess like a system or something like that. So basically giving a task for the player to do, and then after the player does the task, actually like check that off. So let's start with that, and I'm thinking of making some collectible items, so that you actually can collect. Let me see what assets I have here. So I have castle models. What else do I have in here? Character. Okay, so I'll need some assets for picking up, and let's find some assets that we can use. How's everyone doing, by the way? Hello. Yes, saw that some people were waiting for an hour or something like that for the stream. Sorry, guys. I guess that happens sometimes. So I got a foot kit. Maybe we can use that. Yeah, let's use the foot kit. I want coffee. How my language? You what languages you know? How many languages do I know? Just two. Yeah. Just English and Russian. Try spending picture better. Okay, I want coffee. Give me coffee. Can you make? Is it guys morning for you, or is that night? Night coffee is not really. I guess you'll have hard time sleeping then. Can you make a video explaining how you can exactly use the each loop for each loop? Yeah, actually I can do that in this stream actually, so we can use that for an objective. Where is my assets? I already have it here. Kit. Okay, models. FX. So I'm just gonna drop all of them inside here. It's gonna be easier to find what I need. Later on, I can remove the ones that I do not need. I have not put out any new videos this week. I was really busy. So hopefully I'm gonna fix that next week and get back to it and create some new content for the channel. Hey, thanks KOUT for the super chat. I guess that's gonna cover my coffee now. Yeah, thanks. Okay. So I got some, let's actually move it in here. CandyS.px. This is going to be food kit. Just so what we have here, what should we use? So let's just use a fish. This one right here. And, well, yeah, before I add another object, let me actually set it up. So this one's going to have a trigger. Well, let's create a wrap around it. Set. So I'll just create a empty object. That's going to be a pickup object, inject, and then I can use this object. Okay, except I need to reset the position of fish as well. Okay, then I can use this object to and let's use a box collider, or yeah, let's see, or sphere, or let's just use a sphere collider. I think it's more appropriate for this one. Let's see, I think that's good actually. Okay, and it's gonna be a trigger. Then for the logic, I'll make the logic real simple. So let's go and get a flow machine, and I'll trigger the logic of the pickup from the object itself. So in here, on trigger enter. Wait, I can use my own notes. Okay, so on trigger, I'll just use mine because I need to be able. So on trigger tag, on trigger enter, the tag that I'm looking for is player. So if the player collides with this object, then I'm gonna enter. What should I do? I'll trigger custom event. Call it pickup item. pickup. Your channel is what keeps me going. That's the least I can do. Okay, that's cool. Nice to hear that. Are you making a game right now? So I'll connect it right here. I don't think I need to have a converter. I think the customer event will get objects like that. And I need to pass in one parameter. And that parameter is gonna be this. Okay, it's not this yet. It's self. I've been playing with the new version of Bolt, and they renamed self to this, so some things are a little bit different. Okay, I'll leave it like that. So as soon as the player enters this object, it's gonna actually trigger a pickup custom event on the player. And from there, we can actually go to our player and handle it. So I already have 2 flow machines on the player, and I'll create another flow machine. I guess, I mean, you could use super units, but in C# you'd actually go and create another class or C# script to be able to control different things separately. It's breaking it up like that. Okay, so now I need to create a custom event because we are going to look for that event. Pickup event, unit 1. We can remove this, and what we're gonna do here is, once we trigger it, we'll pick up that item and store it. Now currently the item does not have a name, so we'll add a variable here that's gonna have the item ID. So let's just call it item ID, because we need to be able to know what item are we picking up. So I'll just have the ID as a string, not file, but fish. There. And the ID is gonna just have the value, the name of the item. Okay, go back to the player now. Where's my player? There. Go back to the player. And inside here, I'm gonna add holding items. This can be a list of string. And I can get that string. Then get a, well, actually from here I can get variable, and we want to get the object variable, not the string, but the object, pass it into the object. And we're trying to get, since the object that I'm passing here is the actual object that I was supposed to pick up, I want to get the item ID. So item ID, I think that's how I called it. And then I can, since this is a list, I can say add list item, add list. That doesn't look right. Let me see. Add. Oh, actually, no, that was right, except it was connected incorrectly. So this is the list connection, and the value is actually, let me rearrange this. Okay, the value is passed in right here. So this is gonna add it, but I need to also connect it like that. Let me try to make this as clean as possible. So we're creating a list of all the items that we're picking up, storing the IDs. Now I'm not counting those items right now, although I could. The way that so it's just gonna have a list of should we add a counter? This can be a little bit you are any tips for learning script or visual scripting? I just started a month ago. Sorry about the noise, there's some helicopters or something in the outside flying. I think they're gone now. Okay, so any tips for learning scripting or visual scripting? I just started a month ago in your device. Learning scripting or visual scripting. So visual scripting, just I guess yeah, start with a simple project and just try to go through it. Don't go with a complicated project. I did have like the last, if you check my channel, there's the last how to make a game. If you saw that one, you can also check out the previous one that I made. That one had like some spots skipped, so if you went through those, one of those or two, all you have to do next is actually like think of a project, a small project that you want to make, and start working on that. And based on what you actually need for that project, you can look at some resources that I have on my channel. Just search for visual scripting or Bolt tutorials on specific topic and see if you can get there. But before you look for tutorials, I mean, I would suggest to actually try out your making it yourself, like with the knowledge that you have already, and like for I guess like 15-30 minutes, try tackling that tasks on your own. That way you can practice the knowledge that you have, and after you try that and you're still not going anywhere, then yes, finding some resource that will help you a lot. Now, visual scripting, you don't really need visual scripting tutorials for a specific topic. You can actually look up tutorials with C#, and those can help you out a lot, especially the tutorials that actually explain why they're doing it and what they're doing, because everything you do in C# is basically in some way possible to do with visual scripting. So it's just, yeah, instead of creating code, you're creating visual connections and stuff like that. So hopefully that answers your question, but let's get back to our list. So I'm gonna keep this list for now. We can change it up to a counter. For that, we'll need to switch it from a list to actually a dictionary. That way we can count each item that we pick up. Okay. So I added the item. After I added the item, I need to remove the object that we picked up. So let's do remove. And well, actually I can't use remove. Let's use destroy. Destroy. Game object destroyed. No time. Yeah, game object. I need to make sure that I actually do get in game object here. And let's actually connect it here as well, just to be sure. Sometimes the automatic conversion Bolt or visual scripting does have automatic conversion, but sometimes it just doesn't kick in. So to be sure, you can just component get game object. That should get that game object for us. So we pick it up and we destroy it. Let's test it out and see if that actually works. Before we start collecting items that we need on a list. So we picked that up, picked that item up, and now if I go inside my last edited graph, so right here we can see that we just have a fish value. So the pickup logic is working correctly. That is nice. And let me actually put some titles on these flow graphs because they're not really descriptive. I guess. So this is the pickup objectives. I think I misspelled that one, but okay, whatever. And this is our building logic. Let me see if I can turn off the building logic for now. Okay, so there you go. Shut off that building logic. So that's okay. And this way I can actually reuse this item, the pickup object, and place whatever I want inside it. So let's see what we have. Let's do a pumpkin. It's not fall, but pumpkin I think will do for now. So it's also at 0. Move it aside, and we can call this, instead of fish, we can call it pumpkin. Pumpkin. There we go. So with this just slight change, we can actually change from a fish to a pumpkin. So now I pick up both of these items and go to the character. We have fish and pumpkin in our list. Okay, so let's make an objective for an objective. Yeah, why not? Let's make a UI. A UI. I want a text, but for text, before I put the text, let's actually add a panel. What do we have for panel? Okay, go to. Okay, I think I'm in. I think it should be from this side. Okay, so that's our panel, and I want it not to be stretched all the way, just top right corner, right? Like that. Resize it to 400. Let's see how it looks here. Okay, 600 by 300. There we go. And now I need to put it to the corner. Position it a little bit with an offset. And for color, let's go for something light brown or something like that. And increase the transparency just a little bit. No, I don't like the brown. I don't know which colors can work better. There we go. We're just gonna use green. It's gonna be our sticky note. Oh, great. I clicked escape. I don't know. It's the fastest way to actually get out of this color. You also have to click the X button to get out, but that will do. Okay, so Loop, if you can make a separate explanation video for each loop now, node will be great. I have things to do now. So thanks though. Okay, well yeah, I was gonna get to it just really soon, but you got things to do, so that's cool. Okay, so now we need to be able to connect this panel somehow. So let's create a connection to the panel. Lowercase p. And this is going to be a game object, and let's connect our panel here. Now inside this panel, we're going to have some text. So I'll just have only one text, but this panel is going to be actually a grid. Well, let's do horizontal layout. I think I can do that. No, vertical. Vertical layout, and with height, spacing, and let's set up their width and height right here. So let's do 50. And before I do that, let me switch to screen. No, not that one. Scale width. And use the height. Okay, I guess I have to scale it down now. Okay, 40 by 100. 200. I forgot to do that little part. Okay, so there's some padding settings, so let's actually use this settings right here, and I want to add some padding from top and top down. Okay, right here. Let's see how that's gonna look. Let me try to left, right, center. Spacing one child with force expand. I think that's, there we go. So that's more like it. Now I want to switch back to, I think, 40 and switch, let's do 24. Yeah, that should be good for our objective. Okay, so let's make 30. Yeah, I think that will be fine. So let's make 3 objectives. And well, let's start with 1 actually. And from our player, we're actually gonna write those objectives that we want to pick up. So we'll create another list. Items to pick up. List of strings, and we'll need a fish, and then we also need a pumpkin. Okay, so that's the 2 items. And here is where the for each loop comes in. So in here, what we can do is actually look for the start, and we can get our list, then do for each loop, pass in that list inside here for each. We do have an option for a dictionary because you can use the for each loop on a dictionary as well, but we're using it on a list, so we leave that unchecked. And now it should go through, well, just these two items right now, and we can do whatever we want with it. Now, what I want to do, switch back. Okay, so now what I want to do is actually display that in our text. So we'll get a panel and then get child from here. Child index, and I can actually use the index right here for the child because it's still gonna send a count the index, although the list, yep. So I can pass in the index here, and then after I get that child, I can set text of this child to the item. Well, that's actually concatenated. Cat. Cat. So 2 arguments. And this is going to be my second argument. The first argument is going to be the count, how much I need. So string literal. So currently just 1. So that's the string that I'm going to append it to. And that's basically how the for each loop works, except I need to connect it to the body. I like the layouts. Like that. Let's see if I can untangle this. Okay, so I don't know if it's hard to understand what's going on here or not, but basically what's going on. Let's leave it at that. On start, I'm going through all of the items that I have listed right here in the items to pick up, and I'm changing the panel text UI objects there. So I'm just getting it by index, and currently I don't have a check if there's enough of the text objects in there. So currently it's just using 2 of them, and in here I have 2. So we can fix that, but let's test it out first and see if it actually works. So as soon as the game starts, it should replace this new text with items that we're looking for. So right there, 1 fish and 1 pumpkin. So that's one use of the for each we can use, where we can use that. And then after we pick up the item, we can actually also check for the let me check something. Can I actually I think I can change the color. Let's see. I think I'll just change the color. So if we have the item picked up, I'll change the color to, let's try a color out and see if it's gonna actually work. So guess I'll just use blue. If we picked up the item, I'm just gonna use blue. Okay, except I don't need to change it right now. Let's go to our character again, and inside here, I'm just gonna have a loop that's gonna run, that's gonna check for those items. After we pick up an item and destroy it, I'll use another for each loop. And we can pass in the holding items. Iterate through this one. This is not going to be the most efficient thing you can do, but with a small list, I guess it's fine to do what I'm going to do right now. Okay, so I get an item, and then on inside here, then I'll run another for each loop. So this is what I was talking about, not the most efficient way of doing it, because it's actually we can be looking for, well, actually, let me see if I can use something else. So since I have a list, list find it'd be faster if I had a dictionary. If I had a dictionary, let's see what we have for lists actually. So we have create a list. No. Okay, so I do have index of, so that's what I'm looking for. And I need to find the index of the item. So pass that value. The list that I'm looking for is the objects. No, not that one, right there. Okay, so that's going to give me the index, and now in fact, I don't even need a for loop here. I can just use the item ID, but we need to do it before we destroy the item, because after we destroy it, we won't be able to get the item ID. Okay, index of. So let's connect it here, get the index of our item ID. After we get the index item ID and we destroy it, we can now change color, change text color, set text color to, what did I said, blue. So let's just use this blue. The color is going to be of our, well, let's just copy it right here, a panel, and get child. Place it right there. The index is here, and we can pass this as the set color. I think that's it. I don't think I missed anything, but basically after we pick up an item, it should change that color to blue. Change it hello. Is all of the assets you use from store, or you made by yourself? No, these assets are Canny assets. There is a link in description to the assets, but it's just these right here. Let me see. These are the assets that I'm using. So you can actually get these, and if you actually can also, these are available to use for free, but you can support the creator by buying his bundles and stuff. So that's the assets that I'm using. Okay, so let's try to pick up that fish, and we get an error. So system string to. Okay, it looks like I have some kind of misconnection. Let's check that out. So we have I think it's the index of is throwing me that error, and it's the AOT list. Let me see if I'll be able to actually see which node is causing the error. I'm starting to use Blender now, as I know I can make my own characters for Unity. Yeah, Blender is a real good tool. That's what I would use as well. So for some reason, the conversion. Okay, I guess let me try to use the list interface instead. So list index off, and not. Let's try using this one. Okay, so we get an out of bound. Transform child out of bound. Why is it giving it out of bound? Let me see. So for some reason it gave me an. Okay, connected to the. What? I used an and. Okay, that's not what I was trying to do. I need to stop the game first. Accidentally used an add unit instead of index off. Let's try this again. List index off. There we go. List interface index off. So pass this one in here. Value is the ID. We'll do it right after we add and continue with our logic, and we'll use the value right there. So we can drop this one, replace it like that. Let's try this again. Let us try this again. Okay, so there we go. As soon as I pick up the fish, you can see that the fish is actually highlighted in blue, and now the pumpkin is highlighted in blue as well. And if we change the order, I think we should be able to still work that tank skin. So if we first pick up the pumpkin is highlighted, and then the fish is highlighted. Now, you can also introduce counting, actually, if you have multiple items, and and you can, let's see, let's go to our pumpkin and our fish. So let's say that we have more than one fish and more than one pumpkin. Let's go to our project. No, not here. Let's go to our character. And for our counting to work, we actually need to switch from using a list to a dictionary. So that's dictionary, AOT, list of dictionary. So it's going to be a string. That's going to be our ID, and the value is going to be an integer. I don't think I need to add them right away. I can just keep it like that, just an empty dictionary. But you can also use a dictionary for the items to be picked up. So let's actually switch that as well. You can just use one or the other one, but since we are switching this, let's switch this up. So string and integer. So the count, let's say that we need 3 fishes. Okay, and then we can say that we need, okay, there's still a bug with, because I think if I change it here to pumpkin, actually no, it worked, okay, because for some reason before, if you change it, it actually modified the previous entry as well. Okay, so let's say 2 pumpkins and 3 fishes is our objective. Let me close this and open back up. I think it should get rid of, well, it got rid of one of them, but not the other one. Okay. Now, for our for loops in here, we need to switch to dictionary, because now we're using a dictionary for each loop. And we have 2 outputs. We have the key and the value. So the key is the index that we're using. So that's the original one, the one that we used before. So connect that as our our last value, but I need another concat. Let me see if I can. There's a concat with 3 arguments, so that's the one that I'm going to use. So first argument, last argument is going to be our key, so the name of our item. The first one is going to be our count, so how much items we need to pick up. And in the middle, we're going to use this, and it's going to be just the spaces and the dash. Like that. Remove this concat, and we can connect it right there. So we're going to construct the whole string using the integer as our count and the ID as the item we're trying to pick up. So that's the change that we need to hear for displaying that objective list. In here, we need to check if we actually have the count, the right count. So we'll keep this here, but we want to do a check. So here we'll do a branch, and only if the value is true, then we're going to change the color. Now the condition that we're looking for, we need to make sure that the holding items count of that specific item is actually higher, equal or higher than the amount that we need. And that's gonna require us to get index of. So we'll need to get that item in the dictionary item. So let's see if I can find the dictionary. And we'll use get dictionary item. This is the dictionary, the key, get key, we'll have to get key from the item ID right there. So I think it'd be safer to move the destroy to the very end. That way I'll be able to access the information from our object. So either here, or if it's false, we're just gonna destroy it right away. So like that. It's getting really messy now. And that's to be expected once you start dealing with this. Okay, so we get the key, and we get the item key object. We get the value back. So get item by key will actually give us the value back, which is going to be the amount of the count that we're looking for. And now we'll need to do a compare. So I said greater or equal. So if it's greater or equal than this, then we're gonna be good, except we need to pass in that value. Now, currently we're still using a list here, and we need to switch it to use a dictionary. So let's do that. Holding items, dictionary, add a dictionary item, merge dictionary interface, clear. But we need to, before we add or modify it, we need to actually check if the key actually is contained. If we actually contain a key. Unless, let me see, I want to check something, dictionary. And if I say set, is there a fallback? No, there's no fallback. Okay, so I need to check if the key is, if the key exists in this dictionary. The key is the item ID. If it does, I need to add to the existing one. So let's use a branch. Let's check right here. So if the key does exist, then I want to add, let's do false first. So if the key doesn't exist, then I want to add a so dictionary, add dictionary item, pass in the key as our item ID, and the value is going to be an integer of 1. Okay, so that's the add portion of it. That's the add portion, and if we have the item, then we actually want to set dictionary set dictionary set value. But again, we're going to pass in the key, but to set the value, we need to actually increment the previous count that we had. And for that, we need to get dictionary, let me see, okay, dictionary, get dictionary, get dictionary item. So pass in the key. The dictionary is this one right there. Need to make this connection. Oh boy, this is really messy. And then we need to add, not add, but what is it? Sum, scalar, we'll pass in a literal integer. Literal, we'll add 1. So this is our increment part. If it's actually false, I'm trying to spread this so it'd be, I guess, a little bit cleaner, but I don't think we'll be able to make it anything clean here now. Okay, so that's adding a count, and this one is actually creating a new key. After we're done with that, we need to continue with our logic of finding the index. Now, I'm not sure if I can find the index of a dictionary. That's something that I'm not sure, but let's look for an index. Dictionary interface, let me see. Yeah, it looks like I cannot have, I won't be able to find an index, unfortunately. We are using the index to actually find the child that we want to change the color of. And currently we cannot find that index. Okay, so instead what I'm gonna do, so first let's check this. Get item. I want to get item of so this is going to be the compare. So I'm getting the count of the holding item count, and then I'm also getting the item to pick up count. So getting the count from here, comparing those two values. If it's true, then we can continue to change the color. If it's false, then we just destroy the object and just do nothing with it. Now, for me to find which text that I need to change the color, that needs to be changed a little bit. There's no way I can find the index of a dictionary. Seems like I cannot do that. So I'll just fall back to using a for loop. So if it's true, I'm going to go through the for loop, and then inside here, what I'll do is, okay, so I'm looking for the item pickup. That's the list dictionary I'm going through. And inside here, I need to compare with the key that I'm currently working with. So let's, I guess this is the only place where I have access to the key. So right here, I'll do a string equal. String equal value. I'll be comparing it with the key. And we'll have a branch here on each body. If it's true, then I'll switch the color, and instead of continue with destroy, I'll destroy it on exit, and in here I'll do a break loop. So as soon as I find that soon as I find that match key, I'll break the loop, but I was looking for that index, so I can now use that index number to get the child that I want to change. Hopefully that makes sense. Back again, and out I go. Yeah, so I think that's a lot of things right there going on, but I think that should actually have it working correctly. Let's pick up a fish. Nothing, and there we go. So we have 3 fishes right now, so it actually changed the color. If I have 4 fishes, it's actually going to change the color again, but that's fine. You can't see. And with pumpkins, what happened with the pumpkins? Okay, that was weird. I think probably the triggers are colliding or something like that, but that shouldn't. Okay, let me try. Okay, that's weird. Okay, I think I know what's going on with the pumpkins. I actually duplicated the pumpkins, just the pumpkins, not the actual pickup object. That's what, yeah. Because when you select a pumpkin, like, what? Okay, so we have a little problem. Okay, so it looks like I've been moving the pumpkin around, not the pickup object. Okay, so there's my pickup object. Let's duplicate it correctly now. Okay, that should solve that issue. Let's see if the pumpkins are gonna work now. The pumpkins, let's go pick them up first. Okay, got 1, 2, and we got the objective complete in fishes 3, and we have the objective for the fishes complete as well. Now we could have for the, like, if we want to complete the objective completely, we could have had a count saying how much of the objectives we completed and stuff. But one other way we can actually check for if the objective was complete or not is to actually just go through the child of the panels and see if all of the text colors are changed or not. It's a dirty way of doing it, but I think that will work as well. So children, get and detach, get children, get child. There is one. Okay, so get transform. I want to try something out, because in C# you actually can iterate through a transform object through a list, and I want to see if it actually works with both as well. So component get transform, and let's try to do a for each loop. So that will be on exit, and right before I destroy that object, I want to go through this for each loop. Color literal. I'll pass in a color as a literal so that I have a reference of the exact color. And I'm just gonna compare, so I'm gonna be able to get the child here. So text get child color, text get color. Let's just say get text color. Set. Let's see if I have a get option. Well, if I don't have a get color, then looks like I can't get the color. Okay, that's not gonna work then. That's interesting. There's no get color. Well, okay, I guess I can't use that approach then. So, what should we do instead then? If I can't do that, the other route, I can set a value. Set a variable to the game object. To that game object. That's one option. To dictionary get count. I can get count of items, but that's not gonna help me either. Yeah, I guess the best bet is actually to set a variable. So let's do set variable variable object, and I just call it done. It will be on the child, and the value is going to be Boolean, but it doesn't really matter because I think we're just going to check for we're just going to check for the existence of that variable. We'll still use the dictionary for loop. Oh, not the dictionary for loop, the list for loop, and instead of we're just going to go through each item and let's actually get variable, get object variable. We're looking for done and checking for each item. Then here we'll add a branch. No. I not said I'm going to use has. So come on. Has a variable, object, has variable, pass in the item, and variable name is done, and from here we're going to connect it to branch. There we go, on each body. As soon as we get a false, I'll break the loop. soon as we get false, I'll break the loop, but before I enter this loop, I need a variable here. Done. I'll just call it done all. It's going to be a boolean. It's going to be true by default, and actually I'll have to set it true on enter. So right there, before we enter the dictionary and where we were coming from exit, I'll need to set it back to true. So boolean. So by default, it's gonna be true. Okay. This is a flag that we're gonna use, and if any of the values actually, let me see, duplicate that, and if any of the values are gonna be false, we're gonna set it to false. That's how we're gonna know if we failed at any, if we haven't completed one of the objectives. Now, after our exit, we actually want to check this variable. Connect it to our branch. If it's false, we're just going to destroy, continue. If it's true, then we want to do something. And what should we do? I'm just going to disable the game object. So game object, set active, set it at false, and go to the destroy logic. Now the game object that I'm trying to disable is the panel. So let me duplicate that. And basically, after all the objectives I'm complete, the panel should just disappear. That's pretty simple, but you can do more logic there. You can reward the player or whatever you're looking for. Great. One thing that I know that the objects don't have a variable component. The text objects don't have variable components, so I'm not sure if it's actually going to create a variable for it or not. So we can check by going to the text, and it actually adds the variable, so that's cool. So currently it's enabled. If I checked on the other item, this also has variables. Okay, so nothing, and there we go. As soon as we pick up the second pumpkin, it just disappears. So that's pretty much how you can create an objective. Now there's still everywhere except this panel everything is scalable except this panel. So to change to make it more scalable, we want to actually reuse the text panel right there. So let's actually go and do that. Let's go to our project. And in our character at start, where is our start? So currently we're just getting the index and get child, but we actually want to duplicate the index 0 instead. So what we can do is check if not equal, well, let's check for greater. If it's greater than 0, so it's false. We're just gonna modify that value. But if it's actually true, we need to clone this get object, this child. Clone it, yes. So instantiate. Let's see. Object. Original original position, original and parent. So we want to actually make sure that the parent is set correctly. The parent is going to be our panel, and the original is going to be the text object that we're duplicating. So true right there, and this is going to return us the component that we just created. So that should, I think that should do it. There we go. It looks like it cloned that first text and created a pumpkin. So that makes it scalable as well. So now if we decide to go and add another item, if we want to go and add another item, so let's go to our project, and what should we add here? What do we have? Banana. Let's add a banana. Okay, make sure. Okay, so it looks like it's centered. This item name is going to be banana. And now if we go to a character and say that we need to also pick up one banana, let's string banana. Integer, one banana, add. There you go. Let's click play, and we should see a third item at hello smirking his head. Are you, do you miss me? How are you? Did you miss me? Hey, welcome to the stream. The stream is about done, I think. We're gonna get this banana to work. So let's pick up the 3 fishes. We got 3 fishes. Let's go pick up that banana now. Banana is picked up, and as soon as we pick up 2 pumpkin, our objective disappears. So that's the stream for today. Objectives. I hope you guys found that useful. I tried to make it scalable and reusable. So, but you might be, they'll have to make some tweaks for it to work in your game if you're planning to use this. But that's the idea behind objectives. So you have a list of objectives, and you can store it as objects. You can have different lists. You can like, there's a whole bunch of things that you can do with how you set those objectives. And yeah, after you're done with those objectives, you can remove that list. There is still one thing that I think should be very important to do. And it is to have a flag. So by default, let me actually have the flag done all to be turned off, and only if it actually successfully goes through this once, then that flag is going to be turned on. Now the reason why I want to do that is because it's still gonna, after I complete the objective disappears. It's still gonna run through this logic right here, all this logic that's checking for the objective, and that's something that's not something you want to do. So to prevent it from running all this dictionary logic after you've completed the objective, we can actually add a check for this done all right here. Actually, let's make it as the first one. That way if we are done with the objective, we can prevent it from, well, there's not much logic here, but it's going to stop doing the second comparison. So if it's false, we want to continue. So I need to negate this, negate, because it's not equal. No, not that. Negate. So I want to negate this, because if it's actually false, then we want to continue with our true logic and check all of that. But if it's true, then we actually want to break out and just destroy those game objects as we pick them up. And I want to use end gate. So this will prevent all of this logic to be ran after we have completed the objective. Now to reuse this pick the panel objective, after we pick up all those items, we also need to remove anything except the first item, the first child, because on create we're actually cloning the first child to pop like that, and you can do that right there. I'm not going to do that in the stream, but you can remove all of the children except the first one and prepare it for it being created again, or you can actually do that check inside here in this loop. So this is on character. Let me actually show you something. Well, actually, that's going to take a little bit too much time to make. Okay, so I'll just leave it at that. If you guys have any questions, I'll be here for another 2 minutes and I'll be calling it good. Sorry again for starting the stream late. But I think I said that I was going to do 3 streams on this RPG, 3D RPG, and I don't know, it doesn't look like there's too much interest in it, so I'll be probably doing something else for the next stream. Not sure when the next stream is going to be. For the next week I'll be trying to make videos for I guess introduction to C#, and I'll be trying that out as a challenge for you guys. So if you want to challenge yourself and try out actually coding, be sure to go through that the next series they're going to be making. I will make it a very beginner friendly, and the idea is actually to like focus on code, not actual well, what I mean is I'm trying to create a game that will be more code focused. Well, simple game, not that it's going to be a real complicated game, but less of Unity editor. So I guess less of the Unity editor to be able to create a game, a functional game, and that's going to be fun to play and fun to make. And meanwhile, you'll learn some code. So stay tuned for that, and thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you later.